Sometimes the best time is time you make for yourself.
Oh, big baby. What's in this bag over here? You know how nosy I am. Oh, okay. Did I leave you all these or these some more you put in there? Did I give these to you? Oh yeah, I'm not gonna give these to you. Look at that. This one he was baby Jesus.
What?
Michelle said her arm still hurting to this day.
She be.
Holding you up. And this one he tried to take Courtney's trophy because her trophy was bigger than his.
I need, yeah, like Courtney, you can, you don't mind. You don't have to leave, you got you.
He was really trying to take her trophy.
Yeah.
This is Mr. Inlet. We met in February. I met him by going to a Valentine's party with a friend of mine that was going through a relationship. And when I seen him walk in, I said to myself, that's a pretty nice looking fella. I sure would love to get to meet him. Started dating in March. By December, we was engaged. By the following year, in September, we were married. Had Courtney in 1989. After having Courtney, working, then by the time Courtney was 11 months old, I found out I was pregnant with him. I was like, oh my gosh, pregnant again? And he died in September of 1991. Hillman has had a heart attack. I'm like, oh my gosh, no. Is he all right? He's like, yes. He said, we got him to the hospital and everything looks good. I said, okay. This nurse comes out and she brings me his watch, his ring, and his wallet. And she said, hold on to these now. I said, well, what's going on? She said, Crucial, the doctor's working with him. Just wait out here. Somebody come to get you. I'm like, I get back there, the doctor sit me down. He said, Miss Evans, I'm sorry. We done everything we could do. It was just like a ton of bricks had hit me. I just lost it. All I could think about was Courtney and Hillman. Oh my goodness. What am I going to do? My two babies. What am I going to do? It was the I didn't want to go to no chapel. I didn't want to do nothing. I wanted to just stay right back there with him.
But I always used to wonder how and why my dad was taken away from me when I was so young and our family was so fresh. And I always, would try to figure it out, what did it mean? And now I think I'm at the point of figuring out how and why I should, kind of use that as a stepping stool to reach others like my mentors reached me.
So I think Courtney had a cheer that night over by North Carolina State. So we went over for her to do a little cheering, and Hillman, he was still running around. I told the guy what kind of car I would be driving. So then he came up and he met us. Trent was become a very good friend. He took interest in my children as though they was his children. And when Hillman came home, he came back with this little bag in his hand. Trent had went out and bought him all his gear as far as what he would need to, become a little baseball player, which I thought was so nice. So then after introducing him to baseball, we decided to introduce him to football. Now that was the kicker right there, because I kept saying, that's my baby, and ain't nobody gonna be hitting on my baby. But Trent was a big 6 foot, about 400-500 guy. He was like, you got to make a man out of it. You got to make a man out of it. I said, no, that's my 9 months. I finally gave in, and I said, okay, he go play football. And I will say, Trent was there every step of the way for Hillman and with Hillman. Hillman played football for the city of Raleigh for 2-3 years. Then after that, went into middle school playing football. From middle school to high school, went to a football academy. Trent was there every step of the way, pushing.
But some of these hats have such a huge impact on me. Like this one right here. This was Coach Trent hat from the school at Franklinton High School. And I was like, man, I'll never let go of this hat. I would always just have this hat with me. He gave me this hat when, I don't even remember how old I was, but he had just started Franklinton.
And I tell you, again, in September of 14, I talked to Ryan, which is Trent's baby brother, this morning, and he said he died in his sleep. Well, let me tell you, that was a very emotional time at work, too. I just lost it. And they know what a good person Trent was and what a friend he had been to me and my children.
Coach Trent was just like the biggest impact that I had from a person in my life. When I first met him, the dude was just, first of all, he was a big guy. And I mean, not only by his physical being, but his overall mentality was just made him so big. And he showed me that people connect to other people who want to do better for everyone else. And it was just so unique how we can go anywhere and he would know someone.
Everybody was just hurt because Trent was such a jewel. And it was just suddenly, just as he was there. But we got through it.
The day he passed away was one of the hardest days of my life. And it happened on the third game of my senior year at Livingstone. And it was like, I didn't know what to think. And the crazy part about it was he had just called me that night. Like he had just called me and left a voicemail and said he would talk to me in the morning. And I said I was gonna call him back. When I got back and I saw my phone, it was late, super late, and I said I'm gonna call him back in the morning, because we actually talked before every game. Every game I played in college, I talked to that man every game. Either before the game that day or the day before the game. And he called me, and I said I was gonna call him back. I never got a chance to call him back.
Phone rang. It was him on the other end. He said to me, Mom, talk to Mr. Trent. And I was like, no, what's up? He said, Mom, call and said, Mr. Trent passed. I said, no, no, I don't think so, Hillman. Let you hang the phone up and you settle down.
It's like the person that got you started with everything. Like that's taught you about life. That had tough love. Like it was a lot of tough love from him that kind of molded me to be a tougher person as far as like emotional, mentally, just my overall, the way I thought.
Jamie Kent, But she called me and she said, Miss Evans, Hillman is like my child. And she said, I'm very concerned about Hillman. She said, he's very emotional, but he don't want to talk to nobody.
But I'll never, ever forget the conversations we had. Conversations that my mom wouldn't even know about. Just conversations that, I carry to this day, and the reason why I even thought about going to grad school. Because after he died, it was just like, I don't want to do nothing else, man. I don't want to play football. Lost the love for football. I don't know what I want to do now.
Hillman being a young black male, I'm just so grateful. Before he left Livingstone, Coach Robertson. Met him. He was a dynamic mentor for Hillman. Just held on to Hillman and still is holding Hillman's hands to a certain degree.
My mentors like Coach Robinson, who stepped into my life my senior year in college playing football and kind of showed me the way. His impact was like a life-lasting impact, because not only was he showing me how to play this game, which I love, but he also was showing me the key aspects of life.
Let's go. Let's go. Dominate on three. Dominate on three. 1, 2, 3. One thing that is important to me from a standpoint of seeing where we are in society and see the crying need that some of our kids have is mentoring and community service, community outreach, and things like that. Every year we host different events in Rowan County. And the reason why that's so important to me is because as I was coming up and where I could have easily strayed and went in a completely different direction, I had not one, not two, not three, but I had multiple individuals at different points in my life pull me to the side, see some worth in me enough to the point where they started pouring into me, started teaching me things teaching me that what I thought was important ultimately was not what I should have been focused on at the time. And they were able to really instill something in me that, when I see guys like Hillman and some of the other community leaders and guys that come from the type of environment that we come from, that's, to me, that means the world. For me, having young kids, so I have 3 kids ranging from 6 years old to 1 year old, it definitely gives me a sense of security to know that my kids will grow up and have guys like Hillman in their lives. And I know I can always count on them to teach them the right way to do things in the same way that I tried my best with what I had and what I knew to do the same thing for guys like Hillman. A lot of funny stories, a lot of learning moments from dealing with those guys. I think I learned more about myself than anything that I could teach those guys from the standpoint of when I got around those guys, I realized how important it was for me to give back to my community and where I grew up, which is Salisbury, North Carolina. And I had the honor and the privilege of asking a lot of those guys to actually come back and help me with some of the endeavors that we had. So, a little bit about him. When I first met him, I felt like I saw a lot of myself in him from a standpoint of, somebody who, tried their best to help everybody around them, try to be in the right places, try to do what they were asked to do, but, just had all these different things around them coming from that environment that could have very easily pulled him away and took him in a completely different direction. So I'm more proud of him than, anything else that I've done from a standpoint of watching him go from someone who was very docile, very laid back, to someone who's just outgoing and, will set his mind to something and will completely see it all the way through. And seeing the development of his mind and how now he tries his best to think 3 or 4 steps ahead before making a decision.
Then Dr. Griffin at this Dream Builders Communication, strong mentor for Hillman, which that truly is a blessing.
I first saw Dr. Griffin, KG as we like to call him, it was like, man, this dude is who I want to be when I grow up. Just the whole charisma, the whole everything. It was just like the way you can walk in a room and grab everyone's attention.
Well, hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Kinston J. Griffin, the founder and CEO of Dream Builders Communication. When I think of this young man, I remembered him from undergrad as a college football player, a member of a very prestigious fraternity. But not only that, I saw the person that we call Hillman. I saw the leader. He, like myself, grew up in very humble beginnings in a little city right outside of North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina to be specific. Worked very hard with his mother to do the academic excellence regimen. But as most people figure out, once they get in college, everybody's smart. I sought Hillman out, he sought me out, and he said, hey, I'm looking for someone to guide me through not only being a good student, but being a man, and I would even want to consider going to graduate school. Well, here we are. I'm so humbled to say that through my time with Hillman, yes, he's a mentee of mine, but and a person that works with my company. But there are 4 critical things that I believe that Hillman exhibits beyond the things that I've even had a chance to instill with him. I believe growing up, his parents instilled with him one key thing called integrity. I believe as he got to college, I believe he understood the value of executing, exemplifying, and obviously keeping the right type of company. And then as he started working with my company, he understood the power of understanding process improvement, organizational effectiveness, diversity and inclusion, and the bottom line, which is revenue. And now as he prepares to become, to the 4th point, a graduate of Queen's University, he'll be not only a strong alum, but he'll be an excellent contributor to our city in Charlotte, but most of all, our nation, the great nation called the United States of America.
He started young, and he's still going meeting strong mentors, and he's willing to give back, and that's a good thing for a young 25-year-old want to reach back and help somebody else because he knows somebody helped him along the way. And so I feel so proud and so honored about that he has stepped up to the plate as a young black male and want to give back. Coming from a single parent, you can't say that because people didn't know that. He had so many strong mentors in his life that made it look like he come from a 2-party parent. So I say that to say anything in life that you want to do and you put your mind to it, there are people there that will reach out and help you because they see you are trying to do something and make something out of your life. God will open doors and he will place people in your life. Because all the people that I've called out, look how he placed them in Hillman's life. Coach Robinson again, Dr. Griffin to the CIAA, and he had taken Hillman up under his wings just like his child. That's how I felt when I met him. And I'm just so thankful and so grateful. And I'm so proud of Hillman that want to help others and speak to them and let them know no matter where you came from, you could be what you want to be if you just put your mind to it. Because if you make one step, somebody going to make 2 steps beside you to help you along the way.
And it was all just so impactful. And it was like, yo, these dudes are going to be a part of my life for the rest of my life, whether they know it or not. They don't have a choice. So, just thinking about what they've done for me, kind of, created who I am today.
It's a real one. Oh, look! Crazy! Okay. Let's get this on over with.
I sung a lot of songs.